Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be going over how I made a very simple navigation from one screen to another in Jetpack Compose for Android Studios. You will be seeing my literal trials and errors, error handling, troubleshooting, all of that. Literally just my thought process as I went through everything. So it's going to be very repetitive, very a few awkward moments as well, but at the end of the day, this is just my process and how I do it. So I hope you guys enjoy, and without further ado, here's a video. Okay, so first things first, as you can see, the program doesn't do anything. So I've tried to spam that button a few times so you guys can see it does nothing. Now I'm just gonna put a next screen, which is called the user dashboard, and I'm just going to show you guys. It's very simple, just the plain text really, just to have it so that the next screen does show when it does eventually show, which takes a long time, but yeah. So here I'm just ensuring that I put in the correct layout, because from experience, it's going to look like a really ugly mess there at the top of the screen. So I'm just putting in a column with padding, make sure it fills the maximum size of the column, and then also make sure it's horizontally and vertically centered. Now this portion gave me the most headaches. So it is me attempting to do a navigation, and I knew I had to use a NavHost to do it, but I wasn't sure whether to put it inside that main method or if I should have put it outside. So now I just put it outside, but not realizing that I need to put it into a composable function. So you will see me realize that later on. But now I'm just writing, so that first line is just me initializing that nav controller, then where it should start. It should start in the avatar creation, which is where you guys saw that first page. And then I'm just giving them names, and then I'm calling it and I'm addressing it to go to the nav controller. And then the next composable it should go to is the dashboard, which you just made quick, that dashboard page at the top. Now I need to be importing some Gradle scripts. So I'm going to be going into my Gradle, my bold Gradle, and I'll put a little comment actually at the bottom, just say navigation, and then I'm just going to be importing this one Gradle script that I got off the internet, and as you can see, it's not catered for Kotlin, so I just had to make a few adjustments there by putting it into brackets and removing that assigning of that version, just putting it right in there. So now I'm just gonna sync and run, or save and then sync, but I couldn't sync with errors in my document, so I just commented those errors out. This took a while, but obviously this is fast forwarded, which is very nice. So from here, I will be going back. I still have errors, and I'm confused why I had errors. So then I realized that maybe, okay, I should put this in the main, so it's the first thing that it calls. But let me first initialize my nav controller, because I never did. So I decided to put that in right there at the top. which didn't, it made sense in my head, but obviously I was in the wrong position. I should have put it within the set content, which I do after. And then I'm like, okay, no errors. This means I'm winning. No, it's still red. So I then decide, okay, let me try and move that whole function into like my main method there at the top. And I'm like, okay, this is a bit better. So I installed necessary imports, which takes a bit of a while. But then I still had that one error with that nav control. Now that nav control gave me so many issues, and it took the longest time, but we'll get there and you'll see the tomfoolery that happened. So yeah, that's just me trying to like error or troubleshoot this nav controller. What I was saying is it needs a string, but I was giving it a NavHost controller. And I was like, what string do you want? So I just gave it an empty string. And I didn't even know that was like gonna work. So I just named it something. And that should have actually been like my first hint, that it wanted a name, and then the only place that I used a name was within avatar creation method, but it's okay, we'll get there. So that's just me like commenting out all of that so it doesn't run everything. And now I just run the application itself, as you can see there on the side, and it worked to an extent. So it opened up and it ran and it gave me the first page, and then I tried to put in the button but nothing happened. Then I'm like, okay, no, it's fine, I can work with this, because I never created anything for the button to do something. So like, okay, cool, next step, let's fix this button, because right now the button just says create. So let me make it so this button will navigate to the dashboard page. Now this was very like freehand. I didn't look at resources yet. I just was like, okay, take me to a navigation. Let me link navigation here somehow. So I just on click, I called the navigation class that I had made. Oh no, not class. Sorry, the method that I had made in the beginning. Now this one I did research because I didn't know how to call it properly in Kotlin yet. And then I realized, okay, dang, if I'm calling a method, let me call it as an actual method. So this is where eventually I was like, okay, let me make an actual class and put all of this stuff in that class. And then once I have a method, sorry guys, once I have a navigation method, then I'll be calling this method from that main. I tried even fixing this nav controller, maybe it would work, still didn't work. That's alright, you know, as is with code. So I then tried initializing nav controller, and then this part, I realized that I needed to have this nav controller as a parameter within my avatar creation class. And that's how I would know that when you click the button for the create, that it would unclick, it would take me to navigation, because it's like, let me call something that doesn't really exist within this function yet. Doesn't make sense. So I had to literally add it as a parameter, and then it knew what to call. So that was one of the issues that I had, which got fixed, which is glorious. And then I just called in that application or function, and then I got errors here. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to remove this whole scaffold because it's not doing me any favors. So then I had 2 errors, and it was that nav controller that I did not know about. And I don't know if I ever look at the, what do you call it, the errors at the bottom. I should soon. Oh, there you go. It says it had no value as passed, And I was like, what are you talking about? Which values are you referring to? So this one also took me a while to get. As you can see, many attempts. I even tried. I don't know what that was. Oh, I tried. Okay, I tried changing the versions, but then just removing that piece of code so it wouldn't like give me an error through the syncing. That didn't work. And then what did I try afterwards? I think I tried moving, because this makes sense. I tried moving the function below my avatar creation, so below the first page that opens up, to see if maybe that's why it was not working. But obviously that's not how code works. I was just trying like any possible means really. But that didn't obviously work. And then I was like, I don't know what's going on. Let me try rather. What did I even try next? I looked at this error, and they were still expecting a string, and I was like, which string are you expecting? But let's take a moment to reflect. It needed a string from the avatar creation class. Now, if a function, now logic, okay, in hindsight, looking back, it would make sense now for me to go to the avatar creation class, and see what the parameters were, what it required of me. And that's when it clocked. They're like, oh wait, I actually need to look at the parameters and match what I have with the parameters. So my avatar creation class required me to have a string, a modifier, and then the nav controller. And I only put in the nav controller. So I was like, oh, okay, hang on. Let me go within now the avatar creation, where I called it here in the navigation. And let me put in this name of the string, which is just going to be some random thing like first time user. I tried initially making it like the actual variable that's passed through, but that'll be in a later video. And then the next parameter was the modifier, which could have been left out. And then it was the nav controller. Now this took a lot of research, resources, but I eventually got it. Thankfully. So that was a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth. But as you can see, no more errors, which was really, really, really great. Like now we're like nearing the end, and I was like, okay, this is looking really good. Let me, what was I even doing it? I don't know, maybe I was reminiscing. But let me then try to run this program again after syncing, because I don't think I synced properly the first time. So now here I am. After syncing the project, I'm going to be running it on my emulator, and we'll see what the results are. Here it runs. Let me open it. Let me put in my name. Yay, and it navigates, it works, so happy. And then if I use that back arrow, that's what I wanted, to use the back arrow, and it actually goes back to where I was. As you can see, I was really excited. It actually did go back using that back arrow. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. This was a really nice and fun learning curve for me. But yeah, be sure to tune in for part 2. That's where I will be actually passing through the name that I put in, and maybe something else too. I don't know, but we'll see. Thanks, guys.